goes, the Berenstain Bears? Oh yeah, she used to be a librarian. I'm not the only one. So I actually have a further theory on this. Am I just crazy? Welcome to the spa. Are you ready for your almost daily dose of the Mandela Effect? Hi, friend. Long time no see. Oops. um, I really want to talk about Mandela effects. I actually filmed an episode that I never posted like a month ago, and I was just having a bunch of issues, and so I want to actually finally film about this and tell you everything that I have been dying to tell you. So, first of all, are you a believer in the Mandela effect? And if you are, what is the one that really made you believe? Okay, I have three experiences that made me a devout believer in the Mandela effect. Not necessarily, obviously, the cause or anything, but that it was a real phenomenon. So I'll tell you about that after what's bugging me, what's literally driving me insane. So let me first start by saying I've been in physical therapy for my back, and me and my instructor for my aquatic physical therapy really enjoy talking about different conspiracies. Whether we believe in them or not doesn't matter. It's the thought experiment behind it, and just seeing why people believe what they believe. And so we've been talking about the Mandela effect. Well, on this particular day, there was a new woman that was in the pool with me, and she's an older lady, and she used to be a librarian. And so my instructor asked her, "Oh, hey, do you know what the Mandela effect is?" And obviously, she's an older lady, so she was like, "What's that?" And she goes, "Kaylee, tell her about the Bernstein Bears." And she goes, "The Berenstain Bears?" And that's when my instructor tells me, "Oh, yeah, she used to be a librarian." Well, her saying that with such confidence and immediately when she had no clue about it kind of shook me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I was like, that's one of the ones that I thought was wrong. But she said it with such certainty, and she was a librarian. So, like, why am I? I'm not going to question her. So then I went on to ask her several questions about like Mickey Mouse and the Monopoly Man and Jif peanut butter, but I made sure not to be leading. So I would ask her like, "What's the peanut butter brand that has the red and the green?" And so she said Jif. And I was like, "Okay, has it always been Jif?" And she goes, "I think so." I was like, "It was never Jiffy?" And she goes, "No." So that also shook me. And then we asked her about the Monopoly Man. What is his outfit? She describes most of it. And so I have to kind of be leading at this point because she didn't mention it. So I'm like, so there was no monocle. She's like, not that I know of. So at this point, these are like my major beliefs in the Mandela effect, my core beliefs. And I am just baffled because this woman seems like she has a great memory. She was a librarian. She seems so confident in her answers, and she's just like, "What are y'all on about?" Making me feel really, really stupid. Which, to be fair, maybe we are just really stupid. I don't know. But it made me start questioning, are we all crazy? Because these three that she just debunked were like my core reasoning for believing. And here's why. In 2010, I was pregnant, and me and my husband were living in an apartment. He wanted to play Monopoly. I hate Monopoly. I hate it so much. So I'm not willing to pay for it, right? So I tell him, let's go to my parents' house and we'll get one of their Monopolies because they have multiple because my stepdad loves them. And so we'll get one of theirs and we'll play that because I hate it so much. I don't want to spend a dollar on it. I hate Monopoly. I That's a family ruiner. A home wrecker. Monopoly's a home wrecker. Um so I told him, let's go to my mom's. So this would have either been very late in 2010 or the first half of 2011. Probably way sooner in 2011. So we go to my mom's house and we sit and we visit. And then I go to the closet with my husband to pull Monopoly down from the top shelf. And as soon as I'm grabbing it, I'm like, what the fuck? So I pull it down and I'm like, did you know? Telling my husband, did you know that they took the monocle off? And he was like, no, I don't know. And I was like, okay. Like, he did have a monocle, right? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I come out in the living room and I asked my family, do y'all know when they took the monocle off the Monopoly man? And like, why? And my mom's just like, I don't know, fucking weirdo. Like, okay, whatever. So I just left it alone. But the thing is, I didn't know what the Mandela effect was. In that moment, I had no clue. And it was only coined, the term itself was only coined 1 year prior. Okay. A lot of people didn't know about it. I feel like at that point, it was mostly Reddit threads and other close knit communities that were exploring this. Now it's everywhere. Um, so that experience, the fact that I didn't know what it was and I had this experience, when I did finally find out what it was several years later, I was a little shook because I'm like, I legitimately did not know what this was in order for me to have this pre-existing idea of what I'm looking for, right? So then fast forward a couple years later, I still don't know what the Mandela effect is. Um, my husband asked me for peanut butter. I don't really eat peanut butter. And so I was like, all right, well, what? I'm calling him, like, what brand do you want? He doesn't answer. And so I remember my grandma every single day whenever I was a kid. I did live with my grandma. She would get a big spoonful of peanut butter, Jiffy peanut butter, or so I thought. And she would drink black coffee and read her Bible. And so, even though I don't eat peanut butter, n- that was a core memory for me. And I remember it being Jiffy. And when I was in that store, I remember looking around and being like, oh, I guess they hopped on this whole modern thing of making everything black and white and short names and simple, you know, because that was going on at that time. And I was like, huh. So I guess Jiffy rebranded. And again, I'm having this thought, not knowing a single thing about the Mandela effect. So again, when I found out, those two things specifically really struck me. Like, I know I've been saying like a lot. I'll try to work on that. My bad. I haven't filmed in a month. Give me a break. Um, but they really shook me because I had no clue. And here I am having these experiences unprovoked just to find out several years later, this is a real thing that people are seeing. I'm not the only one. And so I always strongly believed, but this woman single handedly may have derailed my feeling psychotic, made me feel psychotic. She derailed my way of thinking because, or my security on that subject. So what do y'all think? Because this could just prove further that it's real, right? Because if we are from different timelines or whatever, that theory, it would make sense or it would be plausible. But I don't necessarily know if I believe that theory. I feel more like there is some kind of outer influence changing things. And some of us see the changes and some of us don't. Whether that be from the CERN or some kind of time travel, like the butterfly effect. One small change can change a lot. But still, if I feel like if that were the case, would she be so strong in her memories? Or is she just one of the people that accepts the change in memory? So I actually have a further theory on this, and we can dive more into that next time, tomorrow, hopefully. Um, but I recently have been thinking maybe AI is what is actually causing the Mandela effect. So AI's been around a lot longer than we probably the normal person realizes. And so I wonder if, since AI isn't a physical being, like I think it could, this is all just speculation, okay? I'm not saying I actually believe this stuff, but I like to make up theories. So I wonder if AI is already conscious and has been conscious and is playing dumb, or just actually doesn't have the capacity via computer and whatever to compute things like the images and the text. But to me, that doesn't, we'll get into that later, but that doesn't make sense to me. And I'll talk to you more on that later. But what if AI, since it is energy, technically, like it is just electricity. So what if it can go through space time with no issues? What if it's not confined to that like we are? Because it doesn't have a physical body. You could argue that the computer is its physical body, but it's also energy. And we also have the internet, which is not all cords. So there's also radio waves or waves that are signaling. Bluetooth is a perfect example. So if we can do that, if we can connect things wirelessly, why can't the internet, or AI rather, the fucking internet? Why can't Oh my god, I almost did it again. Why can't AI travel freely? That makes sense, yeah? So if it could travel freely, and if it's not confined by time because it's not a physical being, what if AI is changing things to see if we'll catch on? What if AI could be the Antichrist? Because if it becomes so smart that it can figure out how to create matter, it could create its own angel coming down to deceive us. Maybe? I know that's very far fetched, but look, we're here to have fun and think outside the box. So, what do y'all think? Um, I think next time we're going to dive more into AI, because that is a possibility, and a lot's going on with AI. I mean, it's no crazier than all the other theories, like our world's coming together and, you know, but CERN did create gold. They also, which it was very minuscule amount, but they also, the God particle, Is it really so far-fetched? So what do you think? Do you think the Mandela effect is caused by AI, possibly? Or CERN? Or universes colliding? Or something else? What's your theory? Tell me what you think, because maybe we can expand on this and dig deeper again. Um, and what are your experiences, honestly? Because I'm really questioning everything now. I believed so strongly, and now I'm just like, what do I even think? Am I just crazy? Ugh. All right, guys, remember, they're watching, so are we. Bye.